Bill Smith has had a lifetime love for horses, and he is well known for his gentle, effective ways of handling them. As a kid, Bill started his fascination with rodeo while living in Cody, Wyoming. Little did he know he would grow up to become Cody Bill Smith, the best bronc rider in the world during the late 1960s and early 70s. Bill is a 3-time world champion saddle bronc rider who has earned 13 trips to the national finals. He was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in 1979 and the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum's Rodeo Hall of Fame in 2000. He met his wife Carol, a professional barrel racer, along the rodeo road in 1973, the year Bill won his 3rd gold buckle. A love story between Bill and Carol was evident from the beginning, as is their love of horses. They moved to Thermopolis, Wyoming from Cody and started their quarter horse ranch in 1981 called the Circle 7 Ranch, home of the Wyo quarter horses. This family-operated ranch is still going strong today. Bill credits Ray Hunt for his approach to horses, and every year, he and a group of select cowboys under his tutelage start a group of 2-year-old geldings at the Bartlett Ranch. In 1 week, Bill and his 15 cowboys will start 45 colts in this unique classroom situation.
What we're going to do here, in the end, we're going to be on these colts, riding them and using them for these various jobs we have. So we're going to have to get them so we can control their feet. And actually what I'm doing is the beginning of that. These colts have all been halter broken, that's all. We're going to just take them around here, and I'm going to kind of take them the way I want them to go without doing as least as I can. Get them to forget. I don't want them to try to escape. I want them to kind of listen to me and go the way I want. This flag is nothing but an extension of my arm to kind of direct them. We want to give them the best chance they can. Some of them are going to have a little more trouble adjusting than others, just like some kids have a little more trouble in the 1st grade. But in the end, it'll all be okay. I'm still just controlling their feet through their mind right now. They don't even know I am. They're just taking the open way out like horses will do. Taking care of themselves, put a little more pressure on them, go around there once more. I'm not just chasing them around. I have purpose and meaning in what I'm doing. We bring these colts in here, and they have messed with this set of colts. It's the first time they've ever had them handled. But we'll bring them in here, and we'll get our boys here, and we'll bring them in, and we'll start them and ride them about 8 or 9 times, or we'll get them going good. We'll have them out. We'll gather cattle on them and gather for the we're going to brand at the end of the week, so we'll gather the cattle on them. Everybody will be riding them. They'll have the ropes down on them. These young guys will be using them. They won't be in the pen. These horses will be outside and going crossing creeks and coulees and up hills. And we'll have these boys line up over here, and we'll work with these horses to have them come over there and get caught. 6 riders. This is a kind of a special bunch of boys we got here. Lots of them have been here 4 or 5 years, and they all want to be here. That's the key to it. They all want to be here, and they all like horses, and they all want to give the horse the best break. Each step we take with them, we try to do things to prepare them. They're getting them used to softening them up and yielding to pressure, as you'll see in working their hindquarters and working their front quarters, getting them to move. And when they ask them, it's just like I said when I got in here with my flag. We're trying to get control of their feet through their mind, and this is just one step further of it. We're just going on here and teaching them to move off of pressure. Pressure is relative. Pressure might be me shaking that flag from across the corral, or it might be getting too close to them in their space, or whatever it is, or it might be putting some pressure on their nose with that halter, and they learn to give the pressure. Pressure to a horse, the natural thing a horse does when he receives pressure is go against it, push on it. because he's a wild prey animal and he don't want to be pushed somewhere that he wants, that he don't know about going. So it's natural for him to push against and resist pressure. And we teach him to give to pressure instead of resist pressure. It's not natural to give to pressure. Every time you walk up to a horse and start pushing on him, the instant you do, he'll start pushing back because he don't know where you're taking him, and his instinct tells him he better be careful. So so we have to teach him and to give to pressure, and we put pressure on them, and when they give in the proper way, we release, and that's how they learn things. I hear people say that this horse is numb. He don't feel. Then a fly lands on his butt and he feels it. So they all have feel. They learn to endure things and ignore things because it hasn't gotten them anywhere to respond to them. But we want them to respond to the slightest touch. And in order to do that, we have to recognize the smallest change and the slightest try that horse is making for us. This isn't a typical operation where you're trying to find a horse that'll make you look good, and if he doesn't, just get rid of him and get another one. This one, they're all going to get the same chance, and one is just as good and valuable as the next one, and we're not going to say this one isn't any good, because these horses aren't here to make us look good. We're here to make them look good. And that's the difference between us and most horse programs. Every one of these horses, we're going to try to give him the best chance to survive in this environment. Whatever that may be, and it may not look like sometimes the things we're doing are best for the horse, but in the end, if he can't conform, it's just going to get worse for him. So we're going to do all we can to make these horses feel like they can live in this environment. If they can't put the blanket on, they probably won't get the saddle on, so they'll start with the blanket. We don't cut corners here. We try to go through each step and prepare the horse as we go. Some horses need more preparation than others. Each one of these horses is a distinct individual. He's different than any other horse in the world, just like each person is an individual. We'll put these saddles on them, and they'll work them a little, and you'll see them. Some of them will crow hop around here and buck because this saddle feels different, and their instinct tells them there's not supposed to be anything on their back because they've evolved by surviving mountain lions and things that jumped on their back to kill them. They're basically in nature's food chain. They're food for the predators. So that's their instinct. But after they get used to what's going on, that'll all go away. There'll be some that it never quite goes away. They just keep working at it and keep working at it. And that's why you have rodeo bucking horses. Some of them just can't conform, but not very many. Not very many. It's not the horse's responsibility. The colt wasn't quite ready for it. He's just a colt that's going to take a little more. No big deal, and the only reason that would ever be a big deal is if we made it a big deal. We just go right on, and eventually he'll be right with the rest of them, and he'll have the saddle on him. We may have to do some different things to restrain him a little, but in the end, we'll get him saddled and everything will be fine. We try to go in there with a teaching mentality and not force them to do anything. And we try to use some pressure and releases on them and teach them to do things and make everything as easy as we can on the horse. And sometimes it don't look that way because they're scared, and we have to get through to them and get them, maybe do some things we'd rather not do to them, but to get them settled down so we can get our hands on them and get them and teach them trust. And as soon as they figure out that we're not going to hurt them, they're fine. We've got to build a little bit of trust. That's okay, nothing wrong with that. That's as natural as can be. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody likes to see it, but that's just that horse saying this shouldn't be up here. Just let him go, he'll work it out. He'll keep a hold of him and keep him working. Pretty soon he'll say, that thing's still up there, no matter what I do, I better live with it. It's okay. You just don't get excited about that. There's always going to be a leader in this team. And if you don't want the job, that horse will be glad to take it. So you're the guy that's handling that horse will be the leader. That's what the first thing you're doing, because as you know, a horse is a prey animal, and this is all new to them, and they're real scared. So we try to get them over their fear first and get them to kind of trust it and looking at us as friends. And sometimes it seems like we're the worst enemy they have for a while until they kind of come through some things, because we have to do some things that you'd rather not do, but you have to do. But these are smart, bred to be gentle colts, and they come through good. And before it's all over, they'll trust you. You can do about anything with them. A good job, Matthew. Heck of a job, buddy. Keep trying to get them going a little bit. Don't get too much. Keep moving. Don't let them park. Doing good. Come on, boy. Just kidding. Need some help there? You did it all right, didn't you? Yeah. And a boy, get back on once. You did it. You're doing a good job, Zach. You're learning, ain't you? Yeah. This will be handy to you someday. Well, you got to kind of talk to them and encourage them. I always use positive encouragement, and I try to see all the good in them, and I've always believed in that. Look at the glass half full. I like to see what they can do, because when they're green, they're like the green horse. They make a lot of mistakes, and everybody knows the mistakes. So if I see something good, I like to tell them they're doing something right, and reinforce them and build their confidence up, and make them want to be here and want to like it, and make them proud to be here and proud of the whole situation and proud that they're part of it. That's what I try to do, because that's how I feel, and I'd like people to do that with me. I had my butt kicked growing up every time I made a mistake, and I never had anybody ever tell me I could do anything. And I always thought if I ever got in that position, I was going to try to use positive reinforcement and encouraging kids to get along instead of knock them down all the time. Get back on them once and then take your saddle off, put it back on and take it off, and we'll put them up. That's a boy, bring him around. There you go. Try to get him, Nathan, don't let him get that first step. When you feel him moving off, bring him around. See, he got a step on you, and boy, sometimes that's hard to stop. So you feel him going, just bend him to you, and them hindquarters will go out of gear, and you'll get him stopped. But you got to have enough slack out of that rein so you can do it. I love what I do, and I love my horses, and I really like and appreciate these boys, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm very, very happy when I see them boys putting a saddle on a horse and doing things the way I taught them to do it. And if it's wrong, it's my fault, because they're doing it just the way I taught them. And I'm really proud of that. And it gives me a good feeling. That's where the grin and the laughter comes from. And these guys just make me happy.